Hi, it's John from White Light Paranormal with a Panabox. Have you ever wondered what that black tab is on the back of a Panabox? Well, I'll explain that in just a minute.
So a Panabox actually starts out as a radio before I convert it into a Panabox. And I have to search the world for these. They're rare, they're hard to find, but when I find one, it usually arrives used, which is why I'm wearing gloves. And actually there's another reason why I'm wearing gloves, which I'll get into in a little bit. But there's 7 different radio base models that I work with, and each has its own characteristics. Now, each of the 7 also will either have 2 earphones or 1 earphone or no earphone at all. Now this particular unit that I've got has 1 built-in earphone. So the very first thing I do when I get this is make sure I put on some gloves because this is being in somebody else's ear. And I yank this out all the way, and then I take a pair of scissors and I snip that off. Now, there's a little cord hanging out here. So how do I get rid of that? Well, there's a little retract tab right here. And it's meant that when you yank that earphone all the way out, you push this button and it retracts back into place. But for me, when I've got that little cord hanging out, I push that and it disappears into the unit, never to be seen again. So now I'm left with this void, this ugly void. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I 3D print my own tabs that say Panabox on it? Because A, it'll identify it as a Panabox, and B, it'll fill this ugly kind of void. So what I do is I 3D print these little tabs here. And this is the particular tab. I don't know if you can see it there. It's bad light. It does say Panabox, and it's got little notches on the side. And these were designed so that they actually snap right into the little tabs inside that void. But I do glue them so they never come out. And if the unit did have 2 earphones, then I 3D print a double earphone tab that gets put in. So the very next thing that I do when I've cut that and I've retracted it is I get a Lysol wipe, of course, and I wipe this unit really well because we don't want somebody else's ear stuff hanging on the unit. So don't worry, these things are being Lysoled and cleaned up quite well. Anyway, that is the reason for the tab. It doesn't serve any operational purpose, but it does identify the unit and it does fill this void. So I hope you learned something.